Hello, I'm the Beauty Professor, and you can find my beauty blog at www.beautyprofessor.net. Today I'm excited to share my favorite lightweight foundation formulas for the summertime months. The summertime presents an interesting challenge for those of us who love wearing foundation. And that challenge involves finding a formula that is pigmented and long-lasting enough to give even coverage that perfects the skin, but also a formula that is not heavy, that doesn't melt away in heat, and that overall looks natural and aligned with the carefree summertime months. And with that in mind, I am happy to present to you some formulas that I feel meet the criteria I've just discussed. For the sake of organization, I'm going to start with the least expensive formula and work my way to the most lavish splurge. So starting off, I would like to mention the Rock Multi-Correction 5-in-1 Perfecting Cream. And this is a product I talked about months ago when I was discussing this idea of skincare meets cosmetics. So this particular formula has sunscreen at SPF 25. It also has a light tint. It's very sheer, and so I would recommend it for those who are either looking for very sheer coverage or those who just have amazing skin and are looking for just a very slight veil of color. I love the fact that this product is tinted a very universal light to medium beige, but will work for those in those skin range categories. And it has a light scent that dissipates upon contact, and it's a great kind of no makeup look. You're also getting the benefit of retinol as a skincare consideration, and it just wears beautifully. I've worn this both by itself when I'm not looking for a lot of coverage, but also as a tinted primer, perhaps another product like perhaps a foundation powder. And it is very affordable. It's something that's able to be picked up at a local drugstore. Next is the Ardency Custom Coverage Concentrate. And this is something that's exclusively available at Sephora. The Ardency Americana Custom Coverage Concentrate is a product I have mentioned in videos, and I recently did a full profile on it on my blog with swatches of every shade available, so I'll make sure to put the link to that in the details box. This is phenomenal because it offers so many different forms of coverage, hence the word custom in the title. I wear this in light medium olive, which is great for NC 25 to 27 skin tones. And here it is at full power. It's extremely pigmented, and so you can wear it as a concealer at full power. You can sheer it out with a primer or a moisturizer and make it more of a medium to full coverage foundation, and you can add even more moisturizer to the formula to create a tinted moisturizer effect. It does not contain SPF, so that's something to consider when you're heading outside. You might want to either add your own SPF or make sure that the lotion that you're mixing it with does contain SPF as well. But it's just got so much potential to be exactly the product that you need it to. And even though this looks like a terribly diminutive bottle, I can attest to the fact that it is extremely long lasting. Not only on the skin, but just as the product itself. I bought this back in September. I've used it off and on frequently, and I still have product left in the bottle, and that just shows how a little goes a very long way. If you're interested in the whole idea of beauty alchemy and mixing things together to get exactly what you want, this is an excellent option, and certainly it fulfills the criteria of a fantastic lightweight summer foundation option. The next two products I'll be discussing come from the same line, and that is Jouer. There is the very famous accolade-receiving Luminizing Moisture Tint, which was the original version of this complexion product, and then the Matte Moisture Tint for those who prefer a very matte finish. And I'll be discussing the differences with both of these right now. So Jouer is just a gorgeous line, streamlined, simple and beautiful, very wearable, and the Luminizing Moisture Tint is a lightweight tinted moisturizer of sorts. It can be worn on its own for sheer coverage. Here it is in the golden shade on my hand right here, and that matches my NC 23-27 skin for a lot of the year. I don't have to switch shades with golden. It does have a very subtle, radiant finish, and that imparts just kind of light reflecting properties on the face to perfect the skin and to blur discoloration or anything. I wouldn't say that it's medium coverage, definitely more of a sheer buildable to sheer / medium coverage, and it's fragrance free. It does have SPF 20 and also a host of healthy ingredients like ginkgo biloba and antioxidants. So ingredients wise, it's spot on. I like wearing this alone on really good skin days or mixing it with perhaps a foundation powder or a concealer over areas where I might want more coverage as well. Now the matte moisture tint does have more coverage naturally. I wear it in the shade Nude, and there it is right there next to the blended in Golden. Nude, you can see, just has more coverage in general. Perhaps that's due in part to its matte finish, but I just find that it gives great medium coverage on its own. And even though it's matte, so you aren't getting a glowy finish, you're getting a beautiful skin-like finish, so it doesn't look flat, it doesn't look powdery. I appreciate that. Sometimes I like mixing the two, so I'll do just a pea-sized amount of golden and then a pea-sized amount of nude, mix it together, beauty blend it onto my face, and voila, you have the best of both worlds. On to the Napoleon Autopilot BBB Cream, and that is the Beauty Boosting Balm, hence the 3 Bs. It has broad spectrum SPF 30, so it's definitely respectable in the SPF zone. And even though we think BB cream, very light coverage, I find that this particular formula gives remarkable coverage. It is a little lighter than the Jouer options I showed you, but something about the way it adapts to my skin tone doesn't make that lightness apparent. It's got a slightly pearly finish. It also has what I would consider light to medium coverage. And there are 2 shade options. This is the light medium, and then I do believe there's a medium dark, which I don't have in my possession. I do like wearing this by itself on good skin days, or echo something I've already said, or perhaps pairing it with a concealer or a powder foundation on skin days when I am looking for more coverage. I was stunned by the coverage this does give, however, and there's something about the light reflecting properties that make your skin look really great after application. And you don't really look like you're wearing makeup, but everything just looks better. And I'm looking forward to relying upon this heavily this summer in the way that I did last summer. So up to this point, the options I have been discussing are all in the, and now we're moving into the splurge zone. Formulas that are equally lovely but definitely at a higher price point. Next is the Guerlain Terracotta Jolie Tint, and this is a beautifying foundation with sunscreen for a sun-kissed healthy glow. It has broad spectrum SPF 20. It comes in this unique squeeze tube, and we've kind of seen a theme there with squeeze tube, which I happen to have a penchant for. I love squeeze tubes. It's so much easier for traveling your makeup bag. This is a squeeze tube pump hybrid, and it dispenses a very measurable amount of product. This is the shade Natural, and it's designed to be a light foundation. It actually has the word foundation in its title, so it is a foundation, but I would consider it light to medium coverage. And it does have some obvious warmth to it. Natural, I think, works for NC 23-27 skin tones, maybe even up to NC 30, depending on how you choose to wear it. But it is definitely intended to add kind of a bronzy glow to the skin while acting as a foundation. I have had great experiences with this thus far. I will note that it does have a more pronounced fragrance that is typical of a lot of Guerlain products, It doesn't bother me, and my skin is very sensitive, but that is something to take into consideration, especially in contrast to the other formulas I've discussed, which do not have any obvious fragrance. And in terms of wear, you get just beautiful, healthy, glowing, skin-like finish that lasts for a good portion of the day without needing a touch-up. I like this particular formula much better than the BBs that were released by Guerlain last year, which I think came in only 2 colors if I recall from my swatching session. And unfortunately, neither color matched my skin tone. One was very light and pink and the other was a lot darker and oranger. So I think that Guerlain as a line definitely opted to meet the needs of the majority of us with 5 or 6 shade options from light all the way to a deep, rich, darker shade. And I am definitely looking forward to wearing this summer. Next up is the La Prairie Anti-Aging Hydra Tint. It has SPF 20 and it comes in a very interesting plastic tube meets squeezy tube chimera, if you will. And it does have a squeeze tip applicator to dispense the product. I have number 20 here, but I will have shades of all of this on my blog. This has a slightly thinner texture than the Guerlain that I just discussed, and I would deem number 20 as slightly lighter than shade Natural. But that being said, it still offers a very radiant, healthy veil of color on the face. The ingredients are such that it helps your skin to combat the obvious signs of aging. Despite its thinner texture, I was actually quite astounded at the level of coverage that this gives. Yes, it's a light to medium, but it builds to medium very quickly and it does stay in place. I just dusted some pressed Tom Ford powder over this during my first experience and I was headed out, so I wasn't certain as to the longevity, but it did last for 4 to 6 hours without me feeling like I needed to touch it up past that initial point of powdering. And it wears beautifully. There's no obvious shimmer in the formula. It just looks like healthy, radiant skin. It also doesn't seem to settle into fine lines or migrate as the day goes on. Anything from the La Prairie line, sure to be luxurious. That being said, if you're looking for a gorgeous high-end option, this is definitely worth considering. And finally, a product I recently discussed in my May favorites video. This is the Beautyprofessor Complexion Perfector BB SPF 20 Medium. I'll try not to repeat my thoughts on this product in an overt way, but I would consider this a light foundation. It does offer less coverage than, say, the Clé de Peau cream foundation that I love, but it does offer more coverage than one would think with the name BB and Complexion Perfector, which might imply a very light finish. The medium is great for light to medium skin tones with yellow to warm leaning. And it does have a very cushiony feeling when you apply it. I usually like to blend it into the skin with a damp beauty blender, and it feels like as you press the product in that it's becoming one with your skin and just create a more perfected complexion, as the name states that it intends to do. And it has titanium dioxide and zinc dioxide, so natural sunscreens, and a decent lasting finish. I put this on much earlier today, gosh, almost 10 hours ago, and aside from a light dusting of pressed powder about halfway through the day, I have not done anything else. And it has stayed on, it hasn't oxidized, and it is comfortable on my face. I don't feel like it's sliding off or suffocating my pores. Beautyprofessor is definitely at the top of the game when it comes to really quality ingredients, and this product is no exception. It does have a fairly pronounced fragrance, and some people might find it off-putting. I am very sensitive to fragrance, and I don't find myself bothered by this. All in all, a beautiful option, especially if you're just looking to make your skin look better in one fell swoop. Sometimes I don't even follow with bronzer or blush with this. I just find that my skin looks totally even, and I might just follow up with a little bit of mascara and lip balm or lip gloss and be done. So it's an investment, yes, and it can be picked up at Neiman Marcus and Space NK, but if you're looking for a luxe splurge, that is the marriage of a tinted moisturizer and skincare then this is definitely a route to consider. And so concludes my lightweight foundation options that are perfect for the summertime months. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I would love to hear your thoughts and your questions on these formulas, and also if you've had any experience with any of them as well, please do share in the comments section. As always, please do not hesitate to visit me at my beauty blog, Beauty Professor, which can be found at www.beautyprofessor.net. Take care.